Hi there. So I want to take a few moments and show you how you can take some foundational and basic strategic planning logic and apply it to action planning to help you and your organization navigate the COVID-19 crisis. So the basic idea is this, that the same basic format and approach, the same type of strategic thinking that you apply to your long-term strategic planning can be applied to action planning during a crisis. So let me kind of walk you through this basic idea. So the logic of multi-year strategic planning is pretty straightforward. You and your organization are in one position, and you have a vision of where you want your organization several years down the road. You can see here in the example I've got 3 years. It doesn't have to be 3 years, but that's generally a nice time frame for most small organizations in particular. And to get from where you are today and to where you want to be in several years, you create and you execute a strategic plan. Very straightforward. And through this process, you're going to build upon those internal strengths and external opportunities and overcome any internal weaknesses or external threats. It's a pretty straightforward, logical way of approaching your strategic planning. Now, when you are doing this process, you're going to apply this to different, what we call focus areas of the organization. So focus area could be programs, fund development, staffing, operations, your board. In other words, this logic that I have laid out here could be applied to these different areas. And you can ask yourself a series of questions that walk you through that logic for these different areas. So as an example, what's your 3-year vision for programs? What's your 3-year visions for fund development, etc.? And then you have these other questions that I referenced on the slide before. What are the strengths and opportunities regarding programs or fund development? Or weaknesses or external threats regarding programs or fund development or staffing or whatever focus area you're focusing on, these questions would apply. And then once you've done this basic, pretty rapid assessment, you could go super deep if you're creating a longer term plan, obviously, but then you would create a plan. You'd create a plan based upon that analysis above. You'd refine your vision and create a plan, and then you'd execute it. So it's a pretty straightforward set of questions and approach as a foundation for your strategic planning. You can take this basic approach and apply it in the short term also, or in the case of COVID, a crisis, where your organization is today, where your organization is going to be in some shorter term time frame. Could be 6 months, maybe 3 months, whatever you choose as your time frame. You're going to create a short-term action plan, and you're going to build upon those strengths and external opportunities, and you're going to try to avoid and overcome those internal weaknesses and external threats. So let me take a moment and show you, here, this is the same basic set of questions, but it's applied to the 6-month time frame. Let me give you a template where all of this you can actually walk yourself through this. This is a 2-page template where you select a focus area for a short-term action plan, a time frame, choose a time frame of your choosing, establish what your vision, so say, what was our original vision for this particular focus area? What were we really thinking before this crisis happened? Establish some, identify some strengths and opportunities, weaknesses and threats. Create a revised vision based upon this analysis here, and then you can create some action items and how you're going to execute it. And I'm going through this pretty quickly, but you can pause the video, or you can actually take a look at this form and look at this in more depth. And here's a sample. So let's choose fund development as an example of a focus area. Let's choose a 6-month time frame. You and your team can do a quick brainstorm around what the original vision was as it relates to your fund development vision for 6 months down the road. You can establish what your internal strengths and external opportunities were, or internal weaknesses and external threats. This process, you and your team might be able to do a 20-minute brainstorm and come up with this. Super quick, super easy, and then based upon that analysis, start to create a form of a revised vision. Then you'll basically create an action plan to take you in the direction of your vision, and establish, and this is super important, make sure you're clear on how you're going to execute this action plan. So this is a framework you can use. You can use your own tools to do this planning. We have strategic planning software that we use for this sort of stuff. You can use your own project management or planning tools, whatever works for you. But this is a basic framework that you can use to help you and your team navigate the different areas of your strategy during COVID-19. And once you do this for fund development, as an example, maybe you could then share this format with the programs team, and then they apply it to programs, and your management team could apply it to staffing, whatever it is. And now you're starting to get these different pieces of this plan that can work together in a shorter term time frame. So hopefully this template provides you with some good ideas and a framework for you to do some action planning right now to help you and your team navigate COVID-19. Thanks a lot.